Guys, welcome back to another video. So there have been several ongoing discussions about whether the NHS is currently recruiting international staff, and the answer to this is yes. And in today's video, I will be sharing with you several live vacancies in the NHS which is open right now in the month of April 2025. So if you are a physiotherapist, occupational therapist, a radiographer, maybe even any other profession, this video is for you because I will be sharing some live vacancies and I will be giving you tips on how you can make applications for these particular vacancies so that you get selected as an international recruit in the NHS. But before we move ahead, if you haven't already subscribed to me on Instagram and followed me on YouTube, now's your turn to do so. My handle is Physiotherapy in UK. So let's get into the details of today's video and I will take you to my laptop screen now. Okay, so here we are on my screen, and the first job category we're going to be talking about a little bit more in detail is diagnostic and therapeutic radiographer vacancies. The first one that I want to share with you is a rotational radiographer position, again a band 5 role, and this is with Birmingham Children's Hospital. As you can see, it is a band 5 role, but what is super important to remember is that it's a permanent position which might include on-call and shift work. Now again, this is a 37.5-hour full-time position, but it could also be open for some part-time applicants. However, if you are an international candidate, you're looking for sort of full-time employment. What you've also got to remember is that this is at the Birmingham Children's Hospital within Birmingham, and the salary, which is the standard salary for band 5s, is 29,970 to 36,483. Now, the closing date for this is super important, and this is the 25th of April 2025. So don't miss out on this one, guys. Now, obviously, one of the ways to come to the UK is on a work visa. But again, for those of you all who are academically oriented, might want to come to the UK as a student. And one of the most important things while coming to the UK as a student is finding a room next to your university. And this is where Amber comes in and makes it super easy for you guys because it has affordable options across London, Birmingham, Manchester, Coventry, maybe even Glasgow and Edinburgh. What can be a super stressful period for students because obviously the rents are quite high and it can be really expensive to manage your budget. Amber has really affordable options in terms of student housing that start from just £75 a week, making it really easy on your pockets. What's even better is that they provide an entirely hassle-free booking process which has 24/7 support, and they are usually there on your fingertips to try and help you and guide you through the process. And usually if you do get in touch with their customer support, they will try and aim to get back to you within 24 hours. They also have a free cancellation option, so do not worry if your plans change. Now, if you are going to be booking accommodation with Amber students, don't forget to check out my link in the description below, because if you use the link and book your accommodation, you will get a £20 cash back instantly. Now, this is a limited time offer, so don't miss out, guys. Use the link in the description to make your booking today. The next one we have is in the area of imaging. Now, this is again a diagnostic radiographer role, and as you can see, this is with the ROH, that is the Royal Hospital. The Royal Orthopedic Hospital. Again, it is a full-time band 5 position, which is happening for over 37 hours a week. And again, the site for this is Royal Orthopedic Hospital, which is in the town of Northfield. The salary is again a standard band 5 salary, and the closing date for this is May. So that's the 1st of May 2025. So make sure you put in your application by the end of April for this one so that you don't miss out on an opportunity. The next one we have for you is the radiology position, which is again a band 5 position. This is right now again a diagnostic radiographer position, which is a permanent full-time role, which might again include a bit of on-call because of that 24/7 shift cover. And this is with Manchester University NHS Foundation Trust, and it is going to be based at Manchester Royal Infirmary within the town of Manchester. The closing date for this is 23rd of April, so slightly over 10 days, but just make sure you drop in your application for it super quickly. And the next one we have is with the Isle of Wight NHS Trust, and this is in the area of blood sciences. So it is for a biomedical scientist and not a radiographer. But this is a permanent position, band 5 role, and it's a full-time sort of position. It can again go for a band 5 or band 6 will be considered, which is again really good because then the band 6 salary is slightly higher. So as you can see, this is going to be based at the St. Mary's Hospital down in Newport. and you're going to have a yearly salary of a band 5 or a band 6 based on whatever is decided in the recruitment or in the interview process. And the closing date for this is again 23rd of April 2025. So make sure you drop those applications in really quickly. Now, in case some of y'all are struggling to land interviews, even though y'all are making several job applications, the problem might be that you're not able to structure your application based on UK standards in the NHS. And one way around this is by modifying your applications to reflect how you meet many of the requirements of the job. You can easily do this by booking a one-to-one session with me where we can go through your job applications and CVs and make sure that you are highlighting your key skills that are relevant to the roles. You can book your one-to-one session using the link in the description below, or feel free to reach out to me on Instagram. Now again, I just want to remind you all that these sessions are not only for physios but also for occupational therapists, dietitians, radiographers, biomedical scientists, psychologists, etc. So if you are struggling with jobs, feel free to book a one-to-one session and we can go through your application together. Moving on to the clinical psychologist role, again, very interesting. As you can see, there are lots of vacancies here. I have obviously pulled up a few over here to speak through a bit more in detail. The first one comes as a CAMHS role, which is child adolescent mental health support. This is again a band 5 vacancy, permanent full-time role. And as you can see, this is with Tace Ake and where NHS Foundation Trust. Again, this is an NHS employer, but in terms of where you will be located at the North End House in the town of Durham, and this is a band 5 salary, and the closing date for this is the 24th of April 2025. The next one we have there is a psychologist well-being practitioner band 5 role. Now this is within the mental health community services of the Coventry and Warwickshire Partnership NHS Trust. This is a permanent hybrid role, which means that there will be a blend of online and face-to-face work. Again, this is a full-time position, so sort of Monday to Friday based role, and this will be in the city of Coventry Health Centre, third floor, which is in the town of Coventry, and the closing date for this is 25th of April 2025. Now, moving on, we've now got the CAMHS practitioner support role, which is with the Midlands Partnership University NHS Foundation Trust. Again, a full-time position, permanent. And when you think about it, this is again with the CAMHS, so that's Child and Adolescent Mental Health Services. This is in the town of Tamworth, and the closing date for this is coming up really close because it's within 10 to 9 days. That is on the 22nd of April 2025. Now, moving on to some of the other roles out there, we have now come down to occupational therapy vacancies. And as you can see over here, again, very many vacancies going out for occupational therapists. I have pulled out a few that I would want to share with all of you all. The first one is obviously a rotational occupational therapist role, and this is in Surrey and Sussex NHS Healthcare NHS Foundation Trust. This is again a permanent 7-day working, so you might have to do a few on call and shift sort of type roles, which is again a full-time position. And as you can see, it is going to be based at the East Surrey Hospital in the town of Redhill. The salary is obviously reflective of a band 5 position, but also because it is close to London, you will have your high cost area supplementation, which will help to boost up the salary a little bit more. What's interesting is that obviously the closing date for the vacancy is on the 27th of April 2025, but they've also gone ahead and put down the interview date, which is going to be the 5th of May 2025. Moving on to the next band 5 vacancy, this is the occupational therapist rotational position. Now this is with St. George University Hospitals NHS Foundation Trust. Again, a full-time permanent position that is available within the NHS. And as you can see, the site would be at St. George's Hospital in London. The salary is obviously much higher, and this is inclusive of the high cost area supplementation, which is only available in London. The closing date for this is the 25th of April 2025, so again, worth remembering. Now, the next one out there is, as you can see, another community occupational therapist role, and this is now with East London NHS Foundation Trust. This is again a full-time permanent position that has become available in the NHS in London, and this will be at the East Ham Care Centre, which is obviously in London. The salary for it is slightly higher because it is inclusive of the high cost area supplementation for London, and the closing date for this is 24th of April 2025. Now, moving on to some of the other vacancies, we have the dietitian vacancies over here. Again, like I've said before, lots and lots of vacancies coming up for dietitians. The first one over here is a dietitian role that is available as a band 5 vacancy, which is again in North Tees and Hartpool NHS Foundation Trust. It's a permanent job, full time, sort of 37.5 hours a week. And if in terms of site you want to see where it is, this is going to be based at the North Tees and Hartpool Foundation Trust. And it means cross site. So cross site means you might have to be in different base locations throughout the day or throughout the week, worth discussing during the interview, but it is in this town of Stockton-on-Tees. The salary is again reflective of a band 5 salary, and the closing date for this is really soon. So this is Monday, guys. So make sure you're making your application in if you are interested in this role, because the closing date is 14th of April 2025. Moving on, you then have a catering registered nutritionist or a dietitian role. This is again a band 5 permanent full-time position, which is open for 37.5 hours a week. What's helpful to know is that this is with Cardiff and Wales University Health Board. And again, as you can see, this is within the Department of Nutrition and Dietetics. The salary for this is slightly higher. As you can see, that is about 30,420. And the closing date for this is 22nd of April 2025. Now, moving on, the next Band 5 dietitian role is with Mercy and West Lancashire Teaching Hospital. This is again a permanent full-time position that has become available. What's helpful to remember is that this is at Southport and Ormsk Hospital, and this is again in the town of Southport. The closing date for this is 27th, oh sorry, the 21st of April 2025, and the interview date is actually end of April. So make sure that if you are interested, you make this application really quickly, guys. The next one we have is a rotational dietitian role, and this is again a band 5 position, but this is with Medway NHS Foundation Trust. Again, a full-time position, and weekend working may be required, so indicating some of that on-call or shift kind of work. Now, this will be based in the town of Gillingham, and again, a sort of reflective of a band 5 salary, and the closing date for this is the 22nd of April 2025. Now, lastly, coming down to physiotherapists. Now, obviously, there are several kinds of physiotherapists, and just to keep this simple, I've picked up band 5 vacancies that are available. So there will be a good blend of different types of physiotherapy roles under the band 5. The first one is under the community physiotherapist role in Ipswich, which is under East Suffolk and North Essex NHS Foundation Trust. So here there are two roles, in fact. One is a permanent position and one is a fixed term position until 31st of March 2026. Now, this is again a full-time position, so 37.5 hours per week, and it might include some weekend shifts or share of cover until 6 p.m. So that's sort of your day of work potentially. Now, this will be in Constantine House, which is your base location in the town of Ipswich, and the closing date for this is 27th of April 2025. The next one we have is a band 5 physiotherapist vacancy, again in Kent Community Health NHS Foundation Trust. This is within the area of elderly rehabilitation and recovery, so with that geriatric population essentially. As you can see, this is again a full-time position for 37.5 hours a week, a permanent full-time role. And in terms of employer, like I said before, this is with the Kent Community Health NHS Foundation Trust. The site will be Queen Victoria Memorial Hospital in the town of Herne Bay. And again, the closing date for this is the 27th of April 2025, but they've also given you the interview date, which is 7th of May 2025. Moving on to the next role available, which is a rotational physiotherapist band 5 opportunity. Again, this is a permanent full-time position that is available for 37.5 hours a week. This is with Norfolk Community Healthcare and NHS Foundation Trust. And moving on to where this will be based, this is in the town of Norwich and Norfolk. And the closing date for this is 27th of April 2025. And the interview date is 9th of April 2025. Now, moving on to the last job that we have for physios, this is again a physiotherapist band 5 position, which is permanent and full time. But this is actually an MSK physiotherapist role, which is in Dorset Healthcare University NHS Foundation Trust. In terms of site, this will be based at Victoria Hospital, Wimborne, in the town of Wimborne. And the closing date for this is 27th of April, sorry, the 24th of April 2025. And the interview date is the 29th of April 2025. So that's it from today's video, guys. Do let me know if you have any questions in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.